Johnny Dooley bearing in, and he's scored. And it's going to be Johnny Dooley who will take it. He's going for a goal, and he's got it! That famous free, did you look across to the sideline for inspiration?
Yeah, I gave one glance out the line and I couldn't find Eamon Cregan, I couldn't see him anywhere or any of the selectors. And the only person that I could see was Derry O'Donovan, he's our physical trainer. And he put his finger up like to go for a pint. So I thought for a second, you know, and I looked up the scoreboard and we're 5 pints down, and I had no indication really of the time. I presumed time was running out on us. So I said, the game's nearly over. I was so disgusted with the way the thing had gone for us the whole day. I was expecting, you know, such a great day and everything. And then I said, I've nothing to lose now anyway. So I said I'd go for a goal, and it went in, you know. So after that, it's history.
Well, the title of this programme was The Great Escape. Was it the greatest escape in Irish sport?
Well, I'd say it's very near it now, yeah.
The amazing statistic about the last 5 minutes is you had 9 shots at the goal, you scored 7 and got 2 goals and 5 points. Never been done before in an All Ireland final.
No, it wasn't. No. Yeah, it's an amazing thing, RTE, but I don't know. I wouldn't say it'll ever happen again, or to be honest, I don't know how it did happen now, you know.
Just diddling and dawdling there, and here they come. This is Liam Connor, the fullback. A high lobbing, dropping ball in towards the goal now. A shot, and a goal! A goal! A goal for Offaly! There was a goal in the game! A goal! Oh, what a goal!
So the last time we were back here in Cabinets of Killyon, which is on the parish boundary between Drumcullen and Clareen, was just before the All Ireland Hurling Final. And Clareen, of course, well, that's the home of the Dooleys, Joe, Billy and Johhny. And this is where they'll come at weekends to rub shoulders with the neighbours, have a chat, and maybe have a quiet drink as well.
We have a great tradition. Hurling has been alive in the parish for us going back over the last 100 years, and we've had lean times and good times, but it has always survived and it has been kept going here.
Would it be fair to say it's very much a hurling area rather than football?
Yeah, it's very much a hurling area, yeah. There's very little football. Hurling is a religion around here, you know.
Was your dad a hurler?
He played a little bit, all right, yeah.
He talked a good game.
Talks a good game, yeah.
But it surely was the most amazing last 5 minutes of any All-Ireland final. And there's a tie-in there with the 81 final, as we heard. They were 5 points down also, Joe.
That's right, sure, yeah. I remember 81 in particular. I was on the canal end, and I'll never forget Johnny Flaherty's goal and the build-up to that goal and the last 5 minutes as well. It was very similar to this year, I suppose. You know?
Taking us through that entire great day in September, what time did you leave here?
The lads left, I think, about 10:30 from Burr, and they picked me up in Balnagar, and we headed on to Dublin.
Did you sleep well the night before?
I slept fairly well, yeah. Kind of. There's no point in staying awake. That's not going to do you any good on the day. You know? I was naturally enough. I was nervous, but I slept okay. Yeah.
Johhny, turning to you, what are your recollections of that journey to Dublin?
Yeah, I remember the main bus was full, and there was, I think, 6 of the team. There was 3 of the players and 3 of the girlfriends travelling on the other bus. And that's all that was on the bus, and it seemed very empty. And I can remember listening to Radio 3 on the way up, and the whole way to Dublin was all about the build up to the game and everything, and it just made us, I suppose, that bit more nervous, like listening to the radio on the way up and that.
And how did you cope with the nerves?
We just kept telling ourselves, like, it's just another game. Just try and blot it out of your mind, all the build up and the tension. Just like Slaney, like just going up to Clarine and just do your best and hope for the best, like not trying to put too much pressure on yourself.
Well, I suppose we were going there to win, and that was it, like, and hopefully it would work out for us, and we were lucky enough it did in the wind up, you know.
Do you remember sitting beside anybody in particular on that bus journey to Dublin?
No, I was sitting beside me fiancée, that's all.
Was that a good plan to have the ladies on board as well, quieting everybody down?
Yes, it's nice you're able to chat to them anyway and to keep the nerves away, you know.
I think we got to Dublin around 12:30 or that. We went straight into the Ashton Hotel, our normal routine, like what we done for the other 3 games. Just, you know, try and keep things as simple as possible, and we had our tea and sandwiches and a bit of a chat and headed on over then. So we had a guard escort into the city to avoid all the traffic and that, so that was, you know, nice enough.
At that stage, you know, Eamon Cregan had spoken to us in the hotel, and you know, you're on a mission and you're prepared for anything really, and you don't, you know, nerves have to be, you'll be nervous, but you have to kind of put them to one side and
Was he talking specifically about how to approach the match, or things to do during the game or not to do?
no, it's just a state of mind, like, you know, he's into the psychology of, you know, if you're fit enough and determined enough, well, you know, you'll achieve what you want to achieve, yeah.
Were there fans all over the place? Was that distressing?
There was some fans there, all right, like, or supporters, but it wasn't too bad now, to be honest.
We got over to Croke Park, I'd say, shortly after 2 o'clock, and we watched some of the minor game, and we went down to the dressing room then maybe about 3/4 of an hour before the game, or an hour before the game.
Can you really take in the minor match? Do you notice what's happening? Do you notice who's winning?
Not really, no. No, you're just, there's a lot of other things going through your mind at that time, you know.
The time seemed very long in it now. I'd say we're nearly in the dressing room, the bones of an hour before the final.
What were you doing? Were you stretching? Were you talking? Were you paying visits to the loo?
Yeah, a lot of visits to the loo, but everyone was chatting among themselves, you know, and trying to get the spirit going between ourselves, like, you know, because it's a very lonely place.
Have you still got a picture of that dressing room and the hour or so before the game? Who was near you, who was beside you?
I have, yeah. Well, usually the way it was all year anyway, when we were going in, players set in a certain position and they remained sitting in that position until the year was done with, like, so.
Most players just trying themselves get their own mind right for the game. Just sit down and relax, and you're concentrating on the one thing, just to try and get out there, and every player just wants to do his best on the day. Nobody wants to let themselves down, do themselves justice, like, because of all the games all year long, it's the one game that really counts at the end of the day. Most people remember you for your last game, like the All Ireland Final in particular, and every player just wants to do themselves as good as they can on the day, you know.
And Johhny, for yourself and Billy here, this was a completely new experience for you. Neither of you had ever played in a senior final before.
Yes, that's true, Ger, all right. It was a whole new experience for us now, the build-up and that. We've played in a few minor finals and county finals back home here, but there was never the same build-up to the game, the tension, and even the turns out in training sessions of maybe supporters turning up just to encourage you on and that. And the whole thing just seems to be so different, like it puts that extra bit of pressure on you maybe on the day.
And then the moment comes and one of the green-coated Moyers knocks on the door and says, "You're out next in a minute."
Yeah, you're sort of putting it off, like you're talking out, and then like time is running out, you're looking at your watch and how much is left, like this is going to your mind, and then Eamon Cregan gets up and he has his few words, like, and your man comes to the door, as you said, and like time is running out on you. All the build up and the pressure, and next thing all of a sudden it's there, like you have to get out, no more talking about it, like you have to go and try and do as best you can.
This, the panoramic view of Croke Park at the start of the final between Offaly and Limerick. And straight away it's Kieran Carey. He could be a major factor in this game if he gets motoring early on. Down towards Heffernan. Kevin Kinahan, who's had a great season, winning that first ball. Heffernan may well opt to try and pull him out of position as much as possible. Shane McGuckin now, the veterinary surgeon based in Gorey, towards Johhny Pilkington. It'll be Pilkington against Kieran Carey, and the strong men in the middle. Mention of strength. Here's Ger Canning. Released outside towards Frankie Carroll, just a little hint of nervousness. Kevin Martin going across to Mark. Ger Canning now firmly out of position. It's Gary Kirby who picks it up. First time to get on the ball. Should be quite a tussle with Hubert Rigney. Mention of Hubert, here he is. Comes straight to Mike Houlihan. Going for the score. Great point.
Limerick failed with the breeze in the first half. There was a very stiff breeze blowing over the first half, and we were slow to get into the game, really. Limerick seemed to get into the game much quicker than we did.
Mike Houlihan touches it away towards Frankie Carroll, star of the Limerick team against Antrim, but then in their half-forward line they've had a different star every day. Gary Kirby was very much the star against Cork. Offaly get the sideline cut, and it's going to be Kevin Martin who'll come up to take this one. Driven towards John Troy, added to it well. Joe O'Connor, slightly off balance. Well, it's a penalty, it is. A penalty. Here it is again. This is Damien Pilkington on his way, and that's where the penalty was called for. So 3 men on the goal line. First scoring chance then for Johhny Dooley. Well, Johhny Dooley has been in great scoring form.
I just tried to concentrate on the ball, like, because I was at the canal end, it was the Limerick end of the field, and they were trying to knock me off. I didn't get in a bad shot at it. I hit his foot, and Joe was in very quick after that. I don't know how he got in so quick, because he was at least 5 yards ahead of me, and I had hit the ball, so Lindner Christie wouldn't have got in as quick, I think.
Johhny Pilkington. Stalemate situation, finally broken up there by Mike Houlihan. Now Hubert Rigney. Very stylish performer on his left-hand side, driven in well. And Joe Quaid called on to make the save. Defiantly knocked back well over midfield, in towards the half-forwards. Damien Quigley coming out for it. Taking it neatly up onto the stick, getting away from the three Offaly men there. Quigley, bearing down on goal, he has support. It's a goal!
Everything was going fairly okay until they got the first goal, I think. And then Offaly sort of died on it, really, you know.
From Joe Quaid's lengthy puck down to Damien Quigley, and he beats Jim Troy, all ends up. Well, I mentioned he had support because TJ Ryan was away on the left, on the right-hand side as he was watching it, but he didn't need him. Great goal. Dáithí Regan under this one once again, trying to get it forward. Options opening up ahead of him. Nicely forward, and that's a point. Joe Dooley, the point scorer, to add to the goal he got in the 3rd minute. So Offaly's first point to go with the goal. Joe Dooley inside towards John Troy, up into the corner towards Declan Pilkington. Doing well, getting away from Steve McDonough. Still Declan Pilkington. Referee allowing an advantage. Comes back out towards Brendan Kelly. And further back out again towards Billy Dooley. The snapshot and the point by Billy Dooley. So the team's level for the first time in this match.
People are inclined to be a bit excited maybe while the game's going on, you know. And if you were to listen to everything that's said into you, sometimes it could upset you, you know, like it put you off your game maybe, you know. I think Eamon Cregan just have to say is constructively anyway, you know, so he's encouraging us and telling us whether to move out or stay in or that sort of thing, you know.
Gary Kirby trying to handle. Breaks down towards Mike Gallagher and Frankie Carroll. It's with Carroll. Outside to Kieran Carey. That looks a good deal better. And the Patrick's well man gets his first point of the day, and Limerick lead by 2. This is where Frankie Carroll set it up very neatly indeed for the centre field player on his left-hand side, confidently executed, and a very good point. John Troy taking it down, taking it round Hegarty, but not quite notching the point. It was a good move, started back in their own back line. Joe Quaid getting very good distance into it, into the half-forward line. Anticipating was Dooley Regan. Runs on towards John Troy. Billy Dooley was coming near side for it. Joe O'Connor, the defender, back now to Billy Dooley. Going for the pot shot. And does it squeeze inside? It does, just sufficiently. And Billy has his second point of the match. And the lead is cut back to just a solitary point. John Troy doing well. Standing his ground there against Joe O'Connor. But having the vision to pick out, well, it wasn't hard to pick it out because Billy was right alongside him. Good shot nonetheless. Johhny Dooley rotating his brother Billy. Returning the favour, and a difficult one because Joe O'Connor was in quickly. Joe from Ballybrown, Tom Ryan from Ballybrown as well. Dr. Dave Boylan just ahead of them there. Declan Nash into the centre towards Mike Galligan. Partly blocked down by Brian Wheelahan. Nice skill, beautifully outside to Johnny Pilkington. Is this a point? It is! Pilkington's first. And the sides are level.
Our half-back line was the best half-back line in Ireland, nearly, I could say, this year, like. So they had their hands full trying to get a better at him.
Blocked down well there by Johnny Pilkington. McCoolahan in the centre there. Kevin Kinahan winning that clash there with Pat Heffernan. Now Damien Quigley. Turning well, an acute angle. It was acute, but he managed it. So a goal and a point now for Damien Quigley. Well, it's becoming a seesaw battle here. He had to make a bit of an angle for himself. Beat Kevin Kinahan, the full back, and did really well. Mike Coolahan spreading it wide to Kieran Carey. Lobbed in. Oh, that's a goal! Damien Quigley's got a second. Nearly 29 minutes gone in the first half, and Limerick's second goal credited to Damien Quigley. Kieran Carey fired it in, but watch for the little flick. There it is, brilliant goal.
To be honest, I didn't know that much about Damien Quigley, like, but in fair jousting, like, on the day, he done his stuff anyway, you know.
One of the lesser-known players, but my goodness, how he has served his county well there. It looks like Joe Erity is coming in there, and Shane McGuckin is the player who's being replaced, and he's coming in to mark Damien Quigley, the player who's been doing the damage. So now really it's asking questions of Offaly, who are the overwhelming favourites coming into this match. Joe Dooley, stopped by Joe Quaid. Clearing his lines very quickly indeed. It's been the kind of match where you strike first and ask questions later on. Towards Quigley once again, the danger man. Getting away from Joe Erity, looking for the hat-trick, he misses. Gets the second shot in, however, but wide of the goal. Well, he really is causing so many headaches. Jim Troy making the clearance. Kieran Carey under it. Sensing that there may be a few more scores on just before half-time, and that's one of them. A second for Kieran Carey. Well, with the wind at their backs, they want to build up a substantial lead. Their lead is 6 points right now, but is it enough? Once again, Quigley was bearing down there on the goal of Jim Troy. That's where he missed, and then hooked his second shot wide of the goal. Brilliantly cut up by Dave Clark towards Mike Galligan, and to dance his way away from the challenges. The two-man attack is in there, causing the problems. Quigley has it, and that's fired over the bar. 2 goals and 2 points for Damien Quigley from the Piershigs in Limerick. What a match he's playing. His first goal after 5 minutes, his second after 29, and now on the call of half-time, he's got another score, a point. Damien Quigley, by the way, is now being marked by Martin Hannamy in a switch at corner back, with Joe Erity moving across to the other corner. John Troy and the referee in there, pointing the way. Free to Offaly. Johhny Dooley the taker, and that's a point. A first score for Johhny Dooley, the Sarah Kieran's player. So just 6 between them. Sun into the eyes of the Offaly backs. Gary Kirby taking it well. Great style, but has he got the accuracy? Not quite. Gary with 3 points so far, 2 of them from play. The half-time whistle has been sounded here. Limerick have had the better of the first half, no question about that. They've dominated in defence, given some great ball into their forwards, and Damien Quigley has helped himself to 2 goals and 2 points out of Limerick's half-time tally. They lead at half-time by 6 points. It's Limerick 2-8, Offaly 1-5.
I was a bit frustrated. That's the way I put it. Going in at half-time, I hadn't got here a score, and up to that I was probably the team's leading scorer. And I was glad to get in off the field at half-time. That's the way I put it, you know.
As you were going towards the dressing room, were you sprinting and were you talking to anybody? Did you just want to get off the field?
We just wanted to more or less get off the field, I think, at that stage. Just get in and relax and try and get ourselves right for the second half. Losing by 5 points, and we could have been losing by maybe a few points more. Limerick had a lot of chances that they missed. We were, I suppose, just glad to get in and get ourselves together, and whatever Eamon had to say to us, he gave us a few good words at half-time, you know. He put us in the right frame of mind going back out, I'll go that way, you know.
Joe, your recollection of that half-time break, was it a pleasant cup of tea and an orange?
It was far from it, Ger. No, as the lad said, I think when we came in at first, a lot of the players were saying their bits and so on, but when Eamon and the selectors retired to the gents, and when they came back out, they made a few changes, and Eamon said any talking that was going to be done, he was going to do it, and we do our talking on the field, and he gave us a bit of a roasting, you know.
Well, mainly he told us that the way it was going out there, that we were an absolutely disgrace. It was time for us to pull our socks up and try and get out there and get back into the game, because he said we were only 5 points down and we had a strong wind, like, and a lot of us sort of had our heads down a bit, because we were after, not that we were going that bad, but we were still down 5 points, you know.
When Eamon starts to talk, sometimes he's very motivating sort of a trainer, you know. He knows how to get us going, whether it be by, you know, breaking a hurl off a table or whatever, like. But I tell you, going out in the second half, you'd feel like you wanted to do yourself justice in the second half, you know.
Did he actually smash a hurl during the half-time in the All Ireland?
Well, I won't say he smashed the hurl, but he came near it.
Johnny Pilkington has said that he got a roasting from Eamon. What about the rest of you?
Well, maybe Johnny was a bit hard on himself, but we all deserved a roasting. Well, I did anyway at half-time, and some of the rest of us deserved a bit of to be wakened up a bit, you know, to go out and try and do a bit better in the second half, you know.
But I think we all knew we were playing very badly and that we needed to, we were going to leave a good year's hurling behind us if we didn't win it, you know, and pull up our socks, you know.
Were you first back out on the field afterwards?
I'm not too sure now. I think we were, yeah. I think we might have been forced back out, yeah.
That's usually an indication of a team manager who's unhappy and players who want to get out of the room as fast as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we wanted to get back out and try and prove ourselves in the second half, you know.
Did you hear anything from the Limerick dressing room?
No, we didn't hear a thing, no. You wouldn't hear much of what was going on in our dressing room.
Ready for the second half. 35 minutes then to determine where the cup is going for this year. Johnny Pilkington straight away here. Past the cover of Dave Clark, runs on to John Troy, who's had some very good moments, even against a strong man like Ger Hegarty. Dave Clark again. Hubert Rigney now on this left-hand side, marking Frankie Carroll. And that's Brian Wheelahan, one of the real stars for Offaly in the first half. Ger Hegarty. Nice hand pass outside, but perhaps just too much from Mike Houlihan. Something similar happened at the start of the first half, I seem to remember. Johhny Pilkington to cut this one up. Nice covering of grass on the park this afternoon. Ger Hegarty. Defending well. Strongly built fellow. Towards Frankie Carroll there against Hubert Rigney. Hubert winning it well. Not going so far, just as far as Mike Houlihan for Limerick. Blocked down towards Gary Kirby. Kirby now against Brian Wheelahan. What a battle that will be. Two very skillful players. It's been a very skillful match overall, and only 6 frees awarded in the first 35 minutes. Damien Quigley, the hero of that first half, against Martin Hannamy, and that one has gone to the right. Damien Quigley is the scorer of 5 points going into this championship final. Kieran Carey denied space, runs out to Johhny Dooley. Thought he was going to be hooked, so he kicks it downfield towards Declan Pilkington, trying to get more and more into the match. This time he's fouled by Steve McDonagh. His father John won a minor All-Ireland medal back in 1958, getting a new stick there. John McDonagh also played at right corner back. This is where he fouled his man Declan Pilkington. Nothing terribly serious, but a free to Offaly. So Johhny Dooley, who is 1 from 3 from his frees so far, and of course being a penalty. And now that's 2 from 4. And Offaly are on the boards at the start of this second half, and they peg back the lead to a 5-point lead. Ger Hegarty just handles it away, but it's Offaly who are picking up the tempo now, significantly at the start of the second half. Declan Pilkington again, trying to drill in a score from way out the field, and he's got the range, and the lead now is back to just 4 points. Nothing really in a game of hurling, and in particular in the All Ireland Hurling Final. Declan Pilkington's first score. Mike Houlihan going back. It's Ger Hegarty, in fact. Hegarty leaving it there to Johhny Pilkington, and the Pilkingtons are doing the business at the start of the second half. A few minutes ago it was Declan, now Johhny, his second point, and the gap is down to just a goal really. The action here, which has resulted in Johhny Pilkington picking up a great score from some distance. TJ Ryan now. Chased by John Troy. Still Ryan, he's made some great headway. Ball cut out there by Joe Erity, and Erity, the substitute, whipping on it away to the far sideline. Kept in play by Declan Pilkington, who lost his footing. Dave Clark firing it in, dangerously in there into the Offaly goalmouth area. Jim Troy coming out for it, making the save. Game has increased in intensity in the second half. Here's Joe Dooley. Chance of a score here, and Joe Dooley takes it. That's a goal and 2 points, and now he says, come on, we can do it. It's 2-8 to 1-9, 14-12. Limerick by 2. Well, this is a bit more like it now from two sides, and in particular Offaly. Offaly looking for their 3rd All-Ireland success. Limerick looking for an 8th. Ger Hegarty doing well at midfield. It might yet be a very significant switch inside towards Pat Heffernan. Breaks down, Jim Troy comes out, scoops it away, and it's Quigley who's so sharp this afternoon. That's a point. 2 goals and 3 points now for Damien Quigley. Anything that breaks down in front of goal there, he really is playing well. His best match in the championship by a mile. Great catch by Johhny Pilkington. Blocked down well by Ger Hegarty. It's a great tussle in midfield. That's Quigley again, so sharp. This time Joe Erity going back. But Quigley has it. Well, it hasn't gone wide. It was a chance. Jim Troy against Pat Heffernan. Jim winning the sprint. TJ Ryan. Back. There's no goalkeeper. Gary Kirby. It's over the bar. Martin Hannamy was back there. And Gary Kirby has now scored 5 points. He tells the supporters, come on, cheer us on. 2-9 to 1, 2-11 to 1-9. he's a little happier. Offaly had got to within 2 points.
Martin kind of moved over on Damien Quigley and he kind of tied him up, but I don't think Damien was getting the same supply in the second half as he was in the first half, and I think we moved Brian Whelan in centre back, and our selectors made good switches on the line, and that we kind of tied up the Limerick forwards a bit better in the second half.
Kieran Carey batting it out. Comes to Michael Dignan. Out to Johnny Pilkington. Scoring chance for Pilkington here. Lashed in. And Brendan Kelly got the stick to it. Was trying to do a kind of Damien Quigley. Well, that's gone wide. And that shot again. Venomously hit in there, but that ends up in the side netting very close. Limerick hanging on to their 5-point lead after Offaly had looked so prominent in the early stages of this second half. Michael Dignan back deep, batted away there by Joe O'Connor. Limerick full back line has done well. O'Connor dropped in towards Frankie Carroll, trying to skip away from Hubert Rigney, but Brian Whelan came across there off the legs of Frankie Carroll. Runs on here for Leo O'Connor. O'Connor, who's replaced Mike Galligan. The shot from way out the field, and that's a point. His first shot and his first chance to shine. Leo O'Connor puts 6 points between the teams at a critical stage in the match. Time running out now for Offaly. This was a great shot. Very much an individual point by Leo O'Connor. Took it around Joe Erity, and on his left-hand side struck it magnificently. Mike Houlihan. Just 12 minutes left now. Joe Erity leaves it behind. Ball still in play. Won't come up first time for Leo O'Connor. Leo, who's captain of a very good under-21 team back around 1987-88. Gets the second chance. Trying to get away here from Johnny Pilkington, and runs out of space. Puts it out over the sideline, and it's Offaly possession. So Joe Erity will be the taker of this sideline ball. Joe from Burr. Declan Pilkington dropping it in there towards Johnny Dooley. Michael Dignan taking it up very precisely on the 45-metre line, striking for a score, and he's got it to peg back that lead. A more manageable lead as Michael Dignan is a scorer, and there are 5 points between them. Limerick considering Sean O'Neill from Boher, who's a forward. There's a Sean O'Neill and a John O'Neill among the subs for Limerick. Sean is the forward. Dave Clark. Judged to have been fouled by Hubert Rigney. And Limerick in no particular hurry to take the free. Gary Kirby coming across here, bidding to emulate the feat of his uncles Richie and Phil back in 1973. And of course Eamon Cregan was a star on that team as well 21 years ago. Gary sending it in, but sending it just to the left. Score of 5 points so far. So the best part of 10 minutes still remaining, plus possibly injury time. Picked up well here by Johnny Dooley. Fired in. Good score by Johnny. That's 3 points now for Johnny Dooley. And the lead is whittled away once again down to just 4 points. It's still possible for Offaly, and Limerick still have a lot of work to do. Ger Hegarty under the dropping ball. Comes loose, however, to TJ Ryan. Again, the referee is in there, this time indicting the Offaly player for a foul on TJ Ryan. Brian Whelan is the player involved. It'll be a free for Limerick.
I thought Offaly were hurled fairly well the second half. Now, it was their half time, we got back to 2 points. And although Limerick went back down, and I think they went 5 points, we're actually 6 points up again in the second half. It was 18 to 12, I think. And Offaly came back in again, and we got back to 4 points. And we were on top of them again, really. And they went up and they got another free, and Gary Kirby scored it. Up to that, I was very hopeful, but at the time that we did make the comeback, I thought our lights were out now, to be honest, you know.
Jim Troy, the Offaly team needing possession. They've got to get a goal or two quickly. Michael Dignan Johhny Dooley now, beating the attempted block. Fired in well there. Billy Dooley taking it, trying to get away. He's fouled by Joe O'Connor on the 20-metre line. Will they go? Well, they were trying, I think, to go for a quick free that time. It didn't work out.
That famous free, 5 minutes to go, you're 5 points down. Did you look across to the sideline for inspiration?
Yeah, I gave one glance out the line and I couldn't find Eamon Cregan. I couldn't see him anywhere or any of the selectors. And the only person that I could see was Derry O'Donovan. He's our physical trainer. And he put his finger up like to go for a pint. So I thought for a second, and I looked up the scoreboard and we're 5 points down. And I had no indication really of the time. I presumed time was running out on us. So I said, the game's nearly over. I was so disgusted with the way the thing had gone for us the whole day. I was expecting, such a great day and everything. And then I said, I've nothing to lose now anyway. So I said I'd go for a goal. And it went in, so after that it's history.
I'm sure you've looked at it on tape many, many times from different angles. Specifically the positioning of Joe Quaid. Was he in the right position?
Joe, actually, the same day now, had moved over to the right of the goal, which, like me, that particular day, I didn't notice that much to a certain extent. I knew he was on the right, but I didn't take that much attention to it. I just sort of said to myself, I'll go for the left and I'll hit it low. But I had no particular, I didn't pick him out, anything in particular,
How close to stopping it were one of the Limerick backs?
Well, looking back on it on the video, I just went in between two lads' legs, so if they had to move their leg at all, it was stopped, so it was very close to being stopped.
Now, Joe Quaid pucked the ball out very, very quickly. You seem to throw the initiative back to you fellas once again.
Yeah, looking back on it, when Joe Quaid did puck the ball out very quickly, but Ger Hegarty actually caught the ball when he let it fumble, and the ball went back in. I suppose he should have wasted more time, maybe, and it might have made a difference. We might have got that second goal if we did.
Pat O'Connor has got it. Offaly are in front by a point.
It was a big surprise for us to come from 5 points down. Even after I had got the first goal, and for the second goal to go in it was hard to believe, and all of a sudden we were 1 point up, and we had all to play for. We had the wind in our back. I think from there on in, the Offaly players really, got their tails up and they hurled out of their skins.
Now who's going to win it? Limerick appear to be lording it at times, but you never have an Offaly team beaten. They come from a very small area in County Offaly, the hurling districts, from an 8-mile radius around Birr. They have a great club atmosphere. So too Limerick. Joe O'Connor taking it away as far as Dave Clark. Dispossessed by Billy Dooley, taken here by Brendan Kelly. Kelly playing it out to a loose man, who's Johhny Dooley. Is that a point? It certainly is. A goal and 4 points now all of a sudden for Johhny Dooley. Come on, we can do it, he's saying to his colleagues. Eamon Cregan across on the far side, calling out the instructions as he masterminds what he hopes will be a third All-Ireland win for the faithful county. Ger Hegarty has it. What a transformation. What a last few minutes in this game. It's anybody's match. But the initiative firmly now with Offaly. Time running away. What will be the Limerick response? McDonagh. Towards Frankie Carroll, beaten for it by Hubert Rigney. Comes back to Johnny Pokington, striving to take it up. Good vision, seeing that John Troy was free. Troy trying to tag on another point, but that's over. Yes! Just seemed to have gone wide, but he had it perfectly. And there's a goal between them. John Troy's first point of the day. Triumphant fans up there on Hill 16. Ger Hegarty. Now suddenly it's Limerick who need a goal just to stay in it. Well, whoever said the match is never over until the final whistle, it was never truer than in this case here, as Billy Dooley fires in another beauty. A stage of the match when they can do absolutely nothing wrong. That's 3 points for Billy Dooley. Well, they've answered the critics. They've come back. Once again, it's Johnny Pilkington. Ooh, Billy just unable to keep that ball in play. I make it just about a little over a minute left, plus some injury time. An amazing transformation. John Troy picking it up again. Fired outside towards Billy Dooley on his left-hand side. It's just like routine practice now. A 4th point for Billy Dooley. With 5 minutes left, it had looked good for Limerick, and now all of a sudden it's Offaly's match. Brendan Kelly has come out the field, back again to Billy Dooley, nobody marking him, and that's 3 in a row. A superb performance by the young man from Clarine in County Offaly, from the Sir Kieran's club. Well, they're dancing for joy up on Hill 16. Jubilant fans, a breathless Billy Dooley, and now they lead by 6. And it's Brian Wheelahan, the fans ready to invade Croke Park on the far side. Time almost up, still some time remaining. Almost as good as a point, that one, for Brian Wheelahan. Well, the youngsters are ready to come in and cheer their heroes. Limerick in arrears by 6 points. Where not too long ago they were ahead by that same tally. Leo O'Connor on to Mike Houlihan. He has to go for a goal. Inside, Pat Heffernan denied, stopped, and it's Martin Hannamy who whips it away. The Offaly captain, back to TJ Ryan. Inside to Brian Wheelahan. Superb performance by Wheelahan as always. To Johnny Dooley. Took a while to really get into it, but what a finish. Dropping down there. Steve McDonough has it, booting it clear. Billy Dooley once more. And again they cheer just there at the end line. The couple of wides now don't really matter. And Offaly has won, and it's all over. Offaly the champions in 1994, just like 1981 and 1985. They were looking down and out, but they've come back to win by 6 points. Offaly 316, Limerick 2 goals and 13 points. What a comeback.
The amazing statistic about the last 5 minutes is you had 9 shots at the goal. You scored 7 and got 2 goals and 5 points. Never been done before in an All Ireland final.
No, it was no. Yeah, it's an amazing thing, all right, but I don't know, I wouldn't say it'll ever happen again, or to be honest, I don't know how it did happen now, you know.
We were mobs now. I don't know how so many people could get in on the field so quickly, you know. It's unbelievable now, yeah. I think it was probably with the new stand and that they had no barriers up. And that was a great feeling, yeah.
That was a great feeling to win an All-Ireland medal, like, it's everyone's goal, like, when you're hurling. And for years and years you're looking up, say everyone else going up to get them, you know. It's sort of hard to believe that you're up there yourself, like.
There's nothing can compare with winning an All-Ireland final, you know.
Had you any quiet moment together back in the dressing room then?
No, not really. So the dressing room was mobbed when we got back to it, you know, like there was half Offaly must have been in it, you know.
Well, the title of this programme is The Great Escape. Was it the greatest escape in Irish sport?
Well, I'd say it's very near it now, yeah.
Back in the hotel then, what was happening?
We on the bus and we arrived back to the Davenport Hotel for our dinner there and the buffet or whatever. And there was a great crowd there, Offaly supporters, and it was chatting there, and we were presented with suits, so we just copping that manners. And
did Eamon Cregan get a chance, in fact, to bring you together as a group and say, well done, great second half?
Not really, no. When we came back after for our first league match, he said well done to everyone, and that was it. There was another year now in front of us, like, and that's the way we have to look at it.
What time did you get to bed that night? Or did you?
I think you may ask Fiona that there.
Well, I'll ask her what time she got to bed later on. What about you? Was it a long, long session? Long night?
It was a good night, yeah. It was 4 or 5 o'clock, I'd say.
What about the next day then? There's a banquet where the two teams come together.
That's right. We go over to the Burnet Hotel then around dinner time and two teams meet there. That was nice now to meet some of the Limerick players and chatting there. I had a great old chat with Ger Canning now the same day, and it was nice to meet him off of the field, you know.
What about the homecoming celebrations? They must have been very special.
Yeah, the homecoming is something I'll never forget. Especially, I think Tullamore now was unbelievable. There must be 25,000 people there. The street was packed. There were so many people there. It was like a blur now. It's like a blur at the moment. It's hard to remember. There's so many people you've known. And they're all there just cheering you on. Like, it's great.
And everybody was introduced to the crowd with it?
Yes, we got up on the stage or the platform. Every player was introduced. Speech. It's just the amount of people there waving flags. It's hard to believe there's so many supporters in Offaly. Like, and every one of them must have turned out. It's great. Like, you know.
I think we're just as mystified as everybody else. I think the most important part of it was when Johhny Dooley decided to go for a goal.
Right.
I think that sparked the next 4.5 minutes. And from there on in, Offaly began to play very well. So that was the central part of our display.
What do you think it's going to mean for hurling in the county now?
That means every youngster is going to be playing hurling for the next 6 months. And it's up to Offaly County Board to make sure that they keep on hurling for the rest of their life.
We went back to board in after Tullamore. That was I suppose it's the heart of Offaly hurling is. And the reception in board was just as good as Tullamore, and from there we went into Dooley's Hotel, and the excitement among all the people, and it's hard to imagine, you know, it's hard to explain.
Another late night.
It was a lot of late nights since the All Ireland, but that was a late night as well. It was.
Everyone was out to cheer us on, and it was a great feeling to get back and to have won, like, you know. So it was me.
And when did you get as far as Clareen?
We're out in Clareen, I think, the following Friday night, and Wednesday night it was, and that was very good for us as well. We had all our own people there, and it's great to get back to your own anyway, you know.
This year, on a personal basis, was much sweeter for me now, because probably with two lads playing, and maybe I mightn't have too many years left, and you know, I'd been out of the limelight for a few years, and it kind of, this year was a little bit sweeter, you know.
And of course, you had a very special reason for bringing the cup back down here, because after all, I think you had 4 players on the team.
Yeah, there were 4 players, myself and Johhny and Joe, and Kevin Keane, the fullback.
We have a population of something under 400 people, and the club is small. Like, basically all you have is the senior team plus a number of officials, like, and but the club is in existence, I think, for over 100 years, and we've had lean years and good years, but it has always survived, like all the clubs around here, you know.
It is very small, but their heart is big, and it was a great feeling to come back there, and I think everyone else celebrated as much as we did, you know.